Hey, so we are gonna keep going now in Route 32, down through Union Cape towards Azalea Town, where we're gonna fight Bugsy. These we can take as a double battle or as a single battle. I'm tempted to just go for the double to go faster, so I might regret this, but I think we should be good. The next level cap is 21 for Bugsy. Actually, no, I should switch because he has a Diglett in the back. And I don't want to die to that. This forces Pikachu to come out. I think this Pikachu doesn't have electric type attacks. Yeah. Didn't think of Intimidate, but I think we do hit KO anyways. Yep. So we are gonna go into Union Cave now, which has a couple of floors. Has the regular floor, top floor, which is 1F, which has just kind of mid encounters, Aaron, Cubone, Makuhita, Zubat, that sort of thing. But then there's two basements, B1F and B2F. We can only access B1F right now, and we're not gonna delay the rest. But in B1F, we can get Bronzor, Aaron, Onyx, and there is a 5% for each Bacon and Gibble, which is what you're aiming for, basically. But in exchange, basically, you cannot get any fighting type. So you cannot give up the fighting type in exchange for this. Fighting type could be good for Whitney. But if you get like a Bronzor or an Aaron, it is also good for Whitney ultimately because you resist normal type attacks. So I'm inclined to just gamble. Oh, this has hypnosis. Well, there's a 30% that I wake up. Unlucky. Guaranteed first turn of sleep. Okay. I think the cumulative probability for this guy to be awake at the third turn of sleep, first one is compulsory basically, but you still have a 30% of curing. It's pretty high. So I think moving forward, since we don't have Ariados that has insomnia, we may want Ravi to just eat up status whenever possible. Yeah, so here you can go, if you have serve, you can serve through and then go to B2F and then you get Lapras on Friday. So there's a Lapras down there just like raving, but we cannot get it. Instead, we're gonna try to get a Gibble. Onyx. This is buff in this game. Now, how much is buff? I have to check for, but some amount. So it has 80 attack. Yeah, that's it. 80 attack. I don't know what's usually the base attack for Onyx. It's a good question. And it can get Rock Head or Sturdy. Oh, it usually has 45 attack. That is pitiful. I do remember Onyx being bad, but that is just really sad. So from 45 to 80, and then all other stats remain the same. The other difference just being that it evolves to Steelix at level 32 directly, so no item. I think Ratata is gonna hit on the physical side, so it's not gonna do too much. Bind. I don't know if I can switch after bind. I don't think it's dropping now, right? Yeah, I don't. It doesn't die from crit. Oh, I was dead to crit. Don't like that. Oh right, I can't switch because of bind. Oh, please. I think I might be wrong, but I remember Onyx having like a below average catch rate, above average catch rate. Yeah, I'm not wrong. Fuck. Oh, I might be. I'm freed from bind. Thank you. Thank you, God. I think we're gonna go to. I don't think this has anything to hit me really here. Yeah, that was a crit. Problem is, I mean, I hope you like the Premier Ball a bit more. But it's still bad. We may be here a while. It has 5.9% to get caught with a standard Pokeball. I think once I'm freed from bind, I may want to switch. Thank you. Let's have a look at the Onyx. So another minus attack, physical attacker. Plus special defense is kind of irrelevant because, as I said, it just dies from a breeze, so sturdy. I mean, sturdy may actually matter with Onyx because of, yeah, what I said, that it just dies to special attack. I think this could be, it's still good for Bugsy and Whitney, potentially, so not a terrible counter in that sense. Yep. I think we can almost over-level Krabby because there is... I don't think there are any trainers that we need him for after this, and we don't even... It doesn't really even do that much for Bugsy, so... Bubble Beam does more after a defense Coral. Oh, I wanted to switch here. Didn't realize it's a spinner. Because Kejang is already at the level cap. So I don't want to risk over leveling. Okay, we are through Union Cave. We have one trainer here and one encounter. Let's get the encounter first. We have... There are a couple of good encounters here in Route 33. The one that I would want is Rhyhorn, because in this game you have, I think, 2 traits that you can do. And one of them is a Rhyhorn for Gligar. And you can get Gliscor very easily in this game as well, which is a very good Pokemon for pretty much from there on in the game. Apart from Rhyhorn, there's the rest of stuff is a bit worse. We don't have Swablu, so we could go Swablu. And then you get Hoppy, Vapoom, Scorpy, Ekans, Kroghook. That's during the day though. I think at night... Yeah, we may get Meowth as well, but nothing incredible. So we are aiming for Rhyhorn. I think I'm probably gonna put Geodude at the front for that. Scroopy. I think I've never had this actually. Never play with this. Let's have a look at the Scroopy. Sassy is minus speed. Also not great. Battle armor. Does this have any buffs? No, retains the same. It can be battle armor or sniper. And the buffs to drop you on at level 40. But decent. And make him just go down to the local well. Can get Thief from this guy. Well, Thief is not really a good move. I think that the only time Thief was kind of decent is during Gen 2 and Gen 3 slightly. But we don't have knockoff, so now there's kind of a decision to take in terms of routing. Here we can go into Ilex Forest. But if we don't go now and we clear the Slowpoke well, then we cannot go here without fighting their rival, which we don't want to do until after we beat Bugsy, just because to minimize, you know, the risk of anyone dying. So let's just check what we can have in Ilex Forest. I mean, basically the best encounter probably is Mischievous. The problem is we don't really have any grass or bug types right now, which we're going to have at least one. So we may just want to get an encounter there. The alternative is also to get Magikarp in either Ilex Forest, Route 34 or Route 35. But it is the most likely in Ilex Forest. There's a 60%. And Magikarp is actually really good against Whitney, because Gyarados can use Reversal and just clear half the Pokemon, basically. So I'm tempted to fish there, but we may just... And to fish we have to delay it, right? So I think we can just delay it for now. We got very good encounters otherwise. Okay, other than that, there are no like other encounters you can get in Azalea Town. We could either assign the Togepi to this location and say, hey, we're gonna use it. Or I don't remember if you get a starter here as well. You do? Yeah, you do. Or we can get a Gen 3 starter, which is probably the thing I do. Oh, so these are thievable items, right? I don't remember. Didn't remember this. So items that you could theoretically get from wild Pokemon, but instead of just grinding, you could just use them here. Light Bulb, I remember thieving it from a Pikachu in a run that I did. Yeah, and this guy also trades Gible for Beldum, if you do get Gible in Union Cave. Let's take the quiz. Let's say yes. I'm just doing this off of memory or remembering. Reversal has a maximum power of 200 that you can get if you're, I think, under... It is like 4-something% HP. That is not true. It can be up to 200, which is the thing that you do with Gyarados. Do it if you get Gyarados. And Gardevoir has a higher base stat, yeah. Just what's distribution? Oh. Okay. Yeah, I was like, I don't want to have to do the quits again. We'll get a random Gen 3 starter, basically. Trico. Trico is bad for Bugsy, but not bad in general, because... Oh no. I did not give it a name. Well, we can give it a name later, I guess. Let's check the stats. Just plus special attack minus speed. Not ideal, but overgrow as well. We can have overgrow. Or what's the other one? Unburden. Okay, let's leave it for now. So we have to go to Slowpoke Well. Looking at the trainer, so there's just like a couple of 3 grunts that have various combinations of like Rattata, Zubat, Egg, and Scrymer. We're gonna get another encounter here in Slowpoke Well. And there are a couple of interesting Pokemon here. Namely, well, there's 1F and 1B. I think I've never gone to 1BF. You need Surf to do that. But mostly we have walking, which is the one thing we're gonna do, because fishing we could get Magikarp, Slowpoke, or Barboach. Barboach is pretty bad. So it's a bit of a gamble. And walking we could get Shellos, Swinub, Snorunt, Bronzor. I think a couple of the encounters are like pretty good. Yeah, let's give it a try. It's just walking through this. Oh, just fighting. Fight. I would have died to crit. Let's go to Nospass.
Oh no!
No, Bacon! Well, that's the end of him, isn't it? I definitely have to open Trainer Dogs. Because I would have seen that this has Bite, fucking Pursuit, Focus Energy. That's such a bad death. It is a good Pokemon. I don't have any other. I have Shadow, I guess, as a Psychic type, but Bacon was a alright Pokemon. Well, sorry for that, man. That's on me. Well, that's the first death of the run, sadly, and it was entirely avoidable. You fought well, Bacon. I have to repel. Oh no, this is... I was gonna say, this is our encounter. What am I saying about repelling? This is nice. I don't think I kill it with Headbutt. Holy shit, I definitely would have killed it with Headbutt. What's up with you? 41 attack. Yeah, 41 attack. Kind of high. Guess because you are already an evolved Pokemon. Well, that's fine. Let's check the Snorunt. Plus special attack minus defense is pretty good. And we get inner focus, but let's check Frostlass. So we can get the Dawnstone pretty soon to get Frostlass. And then Frostlass itself, I think it's buffed to have higher special attack, to up to 100 special attack. And it has Levitate. So really good. That's a really good Pokemon. The Snorunt kind of sucks though. I think I'm gonna... yeah, I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave him for now. The box. Okay, so next Rocket Grunt has a Cacnea and a Nidorina. So I think we are probably safe to chain kill with Natu. Extrasensory is great. I think I'm gonna get rid of Lear. I'm gonna try not to overlevel him as I wanna use him for Bugsy. What's Miracle Eye? Yeah, I don't didn't want level 19, but we'll take it. Yeah, Natu is not terrible for Bugsy either. So we're gonna thing is Bugsy, from what I remember, does not really have a way to hit rock types very well, apart from Heracross. So I think we're gonna bring like a bunch of rock types plus a bit of fire and Natu. This bit's Poochyena. I think Poochyena doesn't do anything to the Nosepass. That's not too much damage though. Oh, that's Gen 4 mid-turn switch AI. So the way this works is that if the opponent moved before you and they have a Pokemon in the back that resists or is immune to your attacks, and they have a super effective type against you, I think. Maybe only one of those is necessary, only the resistance or immunity, but basically in that situation there's a percentage of them switching out to a different Pokemon. And because Poochyena was faster the previous turn, that's why that happened. I think we just chain kill this with Headbutt. That kind of sucks. And I'm wondering if I'm gonna have to switch the next turn. I think it might still not be needed, but let's see. But you might just get to hit KO by this. Hopefully. Yep. Level 20 now too. I think we're good XP wise. Voltorb does have boom, but we are not scared of it. If we hit a very low magnitude, maybe we will be scared of it because it is really incentivized, but no, it's dead. Magnitude 7 is enough. And now Cacnea comes out. Yep. We go to Sausage. That's a lot of damage from Sucker Punch, but I think Needle Arm doesn't kill on Switch. I could just switch to something like, just thinking, because if I switch to Natu and finish it, it's gonna get hurt, right? With a Sucker Punch, so I don't think it's a good idea. And by the way, I haven't leveled up Onix, which is terrible. I forgot about that. We could go to the Jolteon, maybe. I think that makes the most sense. Because it doesn't take that much damage from either, right? That is so much damage, actually. Okay, no Sucker Punch. Thank you. Not leveling up Onix, it's gonna show up as a very bad idea. Okay, so this is very de-incentivized to boom because it's full HP. And it's a first turn. Now it's a bit more incentivized, but not that much I can do. So we're gonna extra sensory. And we are faster, so we may not need to switch to anything. Awesome. Okay, Coughing's dead. We should be good to go from here. Kind of surprised by Cacnea. Like, what's up with that? This is not buffed either. Just a ton of damage. Here we can most likely go to... I think we could go to Onyx and take it slow. Right, you don't have... Oh, you have Giga Drain. Hell no. Didn't even realize. But I think we can... Yeah, I think this baits Giga Drain, which is even less damage. Yeah, so we can go to Jolteon. And then Shockwave just takes the KO. 100%. Okay. Easy fight. The only scary thing was the Cacnea. Which was pretty scary, but...
Hey, so I kind of messed up the audio for Bugsy's gym, which kind of sucks, but I'm just gonna talk you through what happened. So first off, we have this compulsory trainer, which I dispatched pretty easily with just Natu and rock type attacks. And even this Ledian, which is buffed in this hype, doesn't really stand a chance. So yeah, this first trainer doesn't really matter. The second one though, after this one, matters a little bit more. It's a bit harder, which are the twins that start with Illumise and Volbeat. And Illumise and Volbeat are bug electric in this hack, and they are kind of buffed to a significant degree. In our case, it doesn't matter as much because we have very tanky Pokemon, and even though they will use electric type attacks against the Nosepass, they don't really deal a lot of damage. Ideally here, I should have knocked up Illumise because I didn't want to bait, I think it's a Beautyfly that comes out. Yeah, I wanted to bait Duxtox because Beautyfly has Absorb, which now forces me to switch out the Geodude at the very least, whereas Duxtox did not have Absorb, so... Now Nosepass would be under fire, even though he doesn't take that much damage. So I just decided to switch him out as well for Kilava and just spam Dragon Rage and Fire type attacks to try to finish up this fight. So in order to do that, I for some reason choose to double Illumise, even though Illumise doesn't do almost anything and Beautyfly is hitting me with Air Cutter. So I don't know what I was thinking exactly. Maybe I just wanted to finish up the run quickly by getting double critted. But yeah, anyways, I take out Illumise, which forces out Duxtox, and I actually, as I said, you don't really want to see Beautyfly and Duxtox together, and you're gonna see shortly why. So here's the Air Cutter I talked about, which gets a crit on the Charmeleon, and it is very lucky that they did not spam the attack for a couple of turns and it only now happens. But yeah, I get doubled on the Charmeleon and it gets really low. I don't even know why it took so little damage from the last attack, because Duxtox is somewhat buffed as well in this hack. But well, luckily we don't have to mourn the death of Charmeleon, and from here on out I'm able to take care of the Duxtox. Now for Bugsy, so here you will just see me basically preparing for the fight and moving things around. This fight is not particularly hard due to which Pokemon he's using, but mostly due to the fact that U-turn is in several of them, and it's not actually that easy to see when they're gonna use U-turn because they're mostly hitting me neutrally. So it's very, very hard to guarantee that I don't get U-turned, especially from things like Scyther, which do basically max damage with U-turn, so it's gonna always want to use it, but then it's gonna switch to something else, and you're not gonna be able to grind down the Scyther early on. So basically my plan relied on having the Butterfree not U-turn the first turn, since I thought it would see higher damage with Confusion. Now, in retrospect, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, because it basically relied on me thinking that the AI would know that my first Pokemon had lower special defense, but that's not how it works. And it will just compute whether it has type advantage on the attack and the base damage of said attack, and if I remember correctly, also its own stats, and that's how it sees the projected damage, but it doesn't really know your stats in that sense. So as a result of all of this long-winded explanation, basically my whole plan relies on it confusing the Nosepass using Confuse, but instead you're gonna see what happens. So here, if it actually uses Confusion, Nosepass will just knock this out in one hit, and then you're gonna see the Pinsir come out because it has Vital Throw, and only Pinsir and Heracross have fighting type attacks, so it's gonna switch to one of these two. So that would be all good and dandy, and that's what the whole line basically is planned around. But instead of that, it's gonna U-turn out, and it's gonna go to Pinsir, which is Heracross, which is the first of the two. It's higher on the party, and Heracross has counter, that's why it's had come in, but it can't really use like a fighting type attack on a vacuum. However, now I switch to Natu expecting counter, but I get bug bitten also for some reason, which takes away my Citrus Berry, and then it also takes away the Citrus Berry from Charmeleon. And now basically I'm on panic mode, and the only way that I have to two-shot the Heracross without risking dying is using Dragon Rage. But actually this switch, if you look at the damage, is fairly safe. So in retrospect, this was completely fine. Now, nothing really hits Charmeleon super effective, so it's just gonna bait the Butterfree in, which is the first Pokemon from Bugsy as well. And I just resort to Dragon Raging it, because I don't see it having a clear KO on me. It's gonna Rain Dance because it's the water type move it has, and I'm gonna Dragon Rage again and take care of Butterfree. The Rain doesn't really matter because I'm not planning to use Ember, because it is really bad anyways for the rest of the flight. Here goes Yamma, and then what I suspect is that it's gonna U-turn as well, which is kind of sucks, but it detects, because it kind of loves to detect in this game. Whenever someone has Protect or Detect, it will spam it, but there it goes. We get the U-turn now. And this takes in Pinsir because it has Vital Throw, as I said, and very high defense, which is why the Rock Throw does barely anything. Now, here I'm in kind of a pickle, and I start thinking, what can I do? Because nothing really lobs 1v1 in the Pinsir, in part because the Pinsir has really high defenses, but Krabby also has decent defenses, so I decided to put it in, and it clearly would die to a crit. So now I'm just thinking, hey, maybe I gotta risk it, like the rain is on, and I may kill this. So I just go for it. I risk the crit, and Crabhammer barely misses the range, which means he can attack me again, but luckily I don't get crit. And now I use Bubble Beam because I just kind of forget that there's one Moo Milk that he can use in this fight, but it actually doesn't matter because I will need 2 hits regardless. So in retrospect, this is actually correct, arguably, if I'm going for a line where I don't want the Krabby to die at all, right? Because I need 2 hits anyways. Crabhammer hits again, which is lucky because Crabhammer is not 100% accuracy, I think it's 85 in this generation. And there goes the Beedrill. Now Beedrill is not very threatening. The threatening thing is at the back still, the Scyther, which the Beedrill can U-turn into, if I remember correctly. So I just go to Nosepass because it takes very little damage, but again, it U-turns, dealing a lot of HP out of my Nosepass, and it goes into the Yanma now instead of Scyther. And I don't remember exactly why it goes into Yanma actually, but it's actually good for me because I can one-shot it. It just U-turns out, so there was basically, it didn't have any super effective move, it just went into Yanma because it is before in the party than Scyther, right? So if it has a neutral move, it will just go to that one. Here I'm kind of fearing that Beetle can actually kill me and seize a KO, because the last U-turn, as you can remember, did a lot of damage. So I'm just kind of wondering, what can I do? And now it cuts, and I did not remember this, but cut is a grass type move in this Hakram. I don't know if when I was looking at the moves I just thought that the green color on cut meant that it was like not ripe yet or what, but I get incredibly lucky and don't die to the cut. But this was terrible. I basically deserved to lose the Nosepass, which in turn would have been maybe fine because I have the Onyx, but you'll see that, well, Onyx takes a lot of damage later on, so I'm not as positive of how this would have gone. So I go into Onyx, which takes the air cutter decently. It's a special move though, so not as well as I would have liked. Yanma protects, and then Ancient Powers, signaling that, and gets the Omnibus, but I still don't understand why eat Ancient Power rather than U-turn, which is a neutral move. Regardless, it goes down, even with the Omnibus, and now the Devil is out, which is Scyther. Now Scyther, from what I remember, will see max damage with U-turn because it doesn't have cut, but it's still a lot of damage. In any case, I should be able to rock throw it and deal 4 times super effective plus healing after this hit, so I don't try to crit, so this should be a guaranteed KO. And I get a crit, which I don't know if it mattered, because Scyther is such a big Pokemon at this stage. But we get Bugsy's batch anyways, in a very badly played fight where I could have gotten destroyed by cut. But luckily we had a very good team for Bugsy, as I said before. We had multiple rock types, we had the Charmeleon, which actually I complained about, but I did forget that it gets Dragon Rage, which is better than most of the fire type moves we could have gotten at this point. And that's Bugsy. Now, what you're gonna see next is the rival fight, and I know before in the episode I just mentioned that I would like to do it after Bugsy because I can go over the level cap, but actually looking at the routing, like the whole routing for this game is made up considering that you will fight this before Bugsy, because otherwise you could make it trivial by over leveling somewhat, because Whitley's level cap is 24, which is only 3 levels higher than Bugsy, so it is arguable. In any case, I did play this fight. I don't know if any Pokemon over 21 participated, but I'd say in the future it'd be best to do this before Bugsy, as it's kind of laid out in the documentation sheets. Yeah, but otherwise, even without going over the level cap, basically in this fight in practical terms, it is fairly easy, because he doesn't really have a lot of special moves. Crocono is the most threatening Pokemon, and it just, I don't know, it likes to make a scary face. We get it, you have kind of an ugly face, so it's a good move on you, but yeah, the Crocono doesn't do much, and with Crocono not doing much, the rest of the team doesn't either. Yeah, and you'll see that'll be the rest of the rival fight. Overall, a very kind of an easy split in the end, I think, as I said, due to a lot of the encounters that we got, which some of them are still good for Whitney, so that makes it a more or less placid first 3 splits. But yeah, I'm a bit more concerned for other splits, seeing as though half of our team basically gets falls to water type and fighting type moves. But for now, yeah, for now we get taken care of. Silver. Here, Kadabra uses Kinesis, which I left in because I was actually going to mention that and I think I did in the audio of the episode that I I lost. But in Gen 1, there are a couple of sets of Alakazam that use Kinesis. It is pretty cheesy, extremely cheesy and kind of rare. But there are certain scenarios, like basically elite matchups, for example against Jinx, where you want to reduce the accuracy so that they can't hit Lovely Kiss. And that's it. That's the episode. Something I mentioned in the Lost Audio as well is that I'm gonna go into Ilex Forest to get a Magikarp, which should make the Weedly fight very easy if we are able to get it. So yeah, see you then. Let's see if we can get it.